Motherfucker, number 535, gets the lead jammer, but there goes Mabel Stark, number 1929, I believe, yes, 1929, gets out, and looks like she's gonna hold Motherfucker to only one scoring pass. But Mabel Stark's gonna get into the pack. Jam may have been, does not get past, only passes her own skaters. I thought Ballarat was going to get.
Thought they were going to get the blood in there.
Did I overreact to that?
You were a bit excited, yeah. That Sydney defense is really strong out there, and skaters like Apocalypse Nerd and that they're not slouches. That defense is just really, really strong by Sydney. This is something that we've seen across the tournament so far, and looking forward to seeing some more.
Motherfucker cutting it a little close on that one. If they want to shut out Ballarat, and you certainly don't want to patronize a team. I mean, at this point, I hope that.
But it's a demoralizing thing. If you can keep them scoreless, then it's only the longer it goes on, the better it goes in your favor of the team, because it'll dishearten them a little bit. So you don't want to get those little victories and get them to change.
But absolutely, but obviously Ballarat still in the building phase of constructing a powerful all-star team. Gets knocked out. That's a little piece, the team captain. And we've got a cutting the track. This time a bona fide cutting the track against Ballarat. We'll have a power jam. Pure Energy coming through with a grand slam. So now it's Ballarat 100% on defense. They do have all 4 blockers on there. Speed and Seagal getting into motion, opens up a crack on the inside, and that's all Pure Energy needed.
Sometimes the blockers just make those jammers look good, giving them that passage through the pack.
Second scoring pass slams into Keena's Marstard, but Keena's Marstard getting a penalty. That drops Ballarat down to 3 blockers.
Now already they've had some pretty high scoring passes for Sydney, and the Ballarat defense, they've given a couple of times, they've just let Ballarat defend without offensively helping.
Oh, nice work. Nice teamwork by Warwick Snapper and Vanilla Slicer, and both knocking themselves off of their feet, but managing to get Pure Energy down as well. So holding Pure Energy down to only 2 scoring passes, or did I miss one? It's hard to keep track. But Sydney up to 69 points.
Apocalypse Nerd on the line there against Miss Sindol.
It's a 4-on-3 pack advantage for Sydney. We've got Keena's Marstard still in the penalty box. Apocalypse Nerd season opening on the center. Just gets caught at the front of the pack. And she gets lead jammer for Ballarat just ahead of Miss Sindol. But Miss Sindol doing a little bit of defensive jamming. But right now, Ballarat in control with lead jammer. Now, if she can force it into the pack, this could be them. She's going to opt not to get on the board. But it's probably the smart thing to do. I mean, the long-term strategic thing to do is you want to get the positive differential, and it's just a waste of time just to tie points.
Especially in that situation, both of her teammates were at the back of the pack. They weren't even at the front, so it's definitely their points were the first to be lost in that altercation.
That's right. I mean, they might have scored the moral victory by simply getting on the board at all. But you know what? Just getting lead jammer against against a team that is really, just to be honest, has the talent and experience advantage over Ballarat.
In the mashup on the outside line on that one, it was actually a tie-up between Miss Sindol and Great Balls. One of her teammates, they ended up getting into a clash and knocking each other out of bounds. So yeah, it was just that little messy chaos that you get sometimes when you're hanging with your teammates. While we're here at the Great Southern Slam, I'd just like to give a big shout out to the Adelaide Showgrounds. This venue is sponsored by them, platinum level sponsor. They're amazing by having us here, giving us 5 tracks over these 3 days.
And of course, a big shout out to Rod Train, another one of our platinum sponsors. They are the providers of the huge badass media truck on site. If you're here and you were outside, you would see a huge and indeed badass media truck. And that is pretty much the reason why we're able to provide you with this live feed in the first place. But they're another one of our sponsors. Big thank you to them. But that was a team timeout by Ballarat. Now we've got Mother Farger just wide open inside lane, but Mabel Stark follows the same path, and it's still wide open. Sydney left it open, left the door open, and Mabel Stark ran on through. There goes Mother Farger calling off the jam, just spins off of a hip check from Fiddle Fingers, and it's once again no points for Ballarat.
They're not giving anything away. They don't want to risk any points at all. They want to keep it scoreless. They want to make that big point difference.
Absolutely, you know. I mean, also with if you look at the WFTDA rankings formula, then there's no better result than simply to keep your the other team scoreless, because you essentially get all of the points and they get none. It's actually the worst result possible for any opponent, and the best possible result for you. I mean, well, obviously. I think I can prove it to you mathematically, but it's pretty easy. You can probably do it in your head. It's 0 over x and x over x. That's yeah. Anyway, that's a grand slam for Juicy Vengeance, number 53 of Sydney, coming around a second time. Oh, hip checks Rumblin' Rogue out of the way.
Little pack finally, and Juicy's calling it off before anything can be done with it.
Well, I'll tell you what, Ballarat has been doing, they've been improving on getting their jammers out of the pack. They've been getting them out of the pack more consistently. And as we saw, Apocalypse Nerd did get lead jammer. So, you know, I think they're on their way to actually getting on the board. But I mean, Ballarat has just starting at the bottom of a very, very large hill that is Sydney. So just, I mean, right now they just want to score any points that they can. They're not. I don't think they're realistically even coming in this for a win. Although you always come in wanting to win, but I mean they just want to score some points.
To get just a bit of blood, just to draw a little bit out of them.
And there it goes, Apocalypse Nerd coming through again, second time jamming in a row that she gets lead jammer, but exactly the same situation. Actually, not quite. She's staying ahead of Miss Sindall. Gets two. Well, it looks like two. Yes, she gets 2 points. Ballarat is on the board.
There we go, calling it off before anything can be done with it at the back. And Ballarat's blockers running to the front of the pack on that one.
Not only that, but getting a 2-0 decision, actually winning the jam and keeping Sydney from Miss Sindall from scoring at all. So good on ya, right?
This is going to be great for their confidence to step up a little bit. Let's see if it improves their game a little bit now that they've already got that drawing.
Did I use the right expression? Good on ya.
Yeah, that works. Okay. That works. Yeah.
No, that was like in the 80s. That was a Crocodile Dundee would say that, but not anymore, right? Nobody says that anymore.
It works fine. I understood.
These days it's all onesies.
Now it's a bit of a mess up there in the front, but look who's through. We have a Ballarat player through, but not
Mabel Stark. Not lead jammer though. The door is still open for Sydney, but just look. I mean, Ballarat just turning it over, and Pure Energy though very aware. Yeah, she's gonna get through and call off the jam. Now she did that head down effort. Just normally, actually, that was interesting because usually in that situation, I'm used to seeing skaters spin around because it's not about your. She was getting her head.
It's all about the hips, yeah.
It's getting the hips around, and you know what I'm talking about. So I'm not sure if that was just a momentary decision or if that was just a tactical.
Honestly, I think she was just squeezed through by the blockers. She was just popped out with that momentum that she just decided to rocket through with it, do the tap out.
Or maybe she was just putting a little sass on that pass. Maybe trying something new. Yeah. Well, what do you know? Well, let's go. Why don't we go through the pack head first instead of tail first? Actually, I think the tail first exit is a little more sassy, technically.
Yeah. Big hits off the line, little piece.
Oh, both jammers knocked out of bounds, but a cutting.
Now, good footwork there. Made sure that she straddled the line, left completely out, and just drove straight back in, only behind one blocker on that knockout.
Grand slam first scoring pass. Also got one blocker in the penalty box for Ballarat. But looks like Slayer Kinney going to the penalty box as well. That evens up the pack. That little piece just rocketing out of the pack. Mother Fargo sees her, calls off the jam. Really simple, pretty straightforward tactic. So Ballarat remains at 2, and Sydney just shy of triple digits.
Now Sydney playing very calm, collective textbook derby here. Just no risks at all needed.
But Ballarat fielding their not-so-secret weapon, Apocalypse Nerd. She's the only one who's gotten lead jammer for Ballarat, and she put those 2 points on.
Freda Cox on the line there for Sydney.
That is Sydney's secret weapon. If you were watching the Perth game, Freda Cox, every single thing, she was mostly blocking, and she was a powerhouse on a blocker. But every single time in those 3 times she jammed, she came through for Sydney.
And she's come through again with lead jam, and she's got the power jam on this one. Apocalypse Nerd on her way to the Persimmon.
No more bad luck for Ballarat.
Yeah, cut track on that one.
Annabelle Lecter heading to the penalty box. It's going to drop Sydney down 1 blocker, but still on the power jam. Freda Cox had a little bit of a mix-up over in turn 2, where we a little bit out of our angle. We've got the entire officiating crew in between us right now.
I can tell you what the Zebras are doing, and that's about it.
There we go. Freda Cox coming through again. Now thank you. They must have heard us. They've moved into a little bit better vantage point for us. But we've got a 3-wall. It's a Rumblin' Rogue, Bazombie, and Cheshire Splat on the blocker 3-wall for Ballarat. But wide open outside lane, but Cheshire Splat slams it shut, and Freda Cox comes back in though. Cheshire Splat did fall to the ground and therefore did not give up her point, but Freda Cox did come in clean.
Freda Cox very aware of who hit her and when they went down, and knew where to re-enter. She just, straight up, there was other people that were looking like they were trying to draw a cut that wasn't existing, and she's just, no, I'm all over it.
And that was a pretty clear one. That was so no chance of any misperceptions by the referee crew. Sometimes in the chaos of the moment, referees will get fooled by that skater waving her hands in the back that wasn't actually in front of the block of the jammer when she went out, but not this time. There's Mabel Stark jamming for Ballarat in the what color would you say that is?
Brown and gold. Brown and gold.
Brown and or tan, off-white. Yeah.
Now Ballarat are known for not having the most attractive uniforms. They admit it themselves.
What? No.
Yeah, their home league they've got like a really deep brown color as well.
Did you call it their uniforms homely?
Yeah, but
home league.
Homely uniforms. They've admitted it themselves.
No.
But it's eye-catching, and they're not going to clash with other leagues. They know that then.
I think they have really nice racing stripes, you know. Now we're moving into the red carpet segment of this game. Who are you wearing? Okay.
This autumn, this winter collection.
It's more of an autumn. I think you're right.
It is. Was that a low block?
And they draw the cut. It is a power jam now for Ballarat, but Little Piece still on her initial pass. But Stacy, DC, and Smacktastica in the 2-wall.
Now making her earn.
Pay the toll. They're making her pay a heavy toll to get out of the pack, but finally completing her initial pass, still on the power jam, and now an opportunity to score. Little Piece's first time in this territory, runs into a solid 4-wall, not budging an inch. On the outside, it's Death Biffo, number 14, but Peggy Spew going to the penalty box, and a door opens in the center lane, gets around Stacy, DC, and Smacktastica, gets all 4 points. Not 5, only 4 out of potential 5 on that power jam, and now Mother Fargo comes back in. We will have a full 2-minute jam though, so there's potentially another scoring pass or two for Ballarat. Now the thing is that the points differential is the decider for the wild card slot, but in terms of WFTDA ranking, it's actually the points ratio. So in fact, every single point that Ballarat scores improves their ratio against. I'm going to have to do math for you again. No, let's not. focus on the action in the game.
And the part that I'm focusing on is Little Pieces out there. She's
right.
clocking up more points than the Ballarat have seen this game so far. So this is going to be a nice little change for them.
That was a nice opportunity. This is the first power jam that has been given up by Sydney. And Ballarat's team captain coming through
And
able to convert.
just like to say the man, one of the most handsome bench coaches in Derby, Mr. Spew, he's headed out to the middle for an official review somewhere there.
He is quite handsome.
He is. He's got the rockabilly look happening.
Oh, yeah. He doesn't have the waxed mustache that my co-commentator's sporting, but he's...
Now,
but not everybody can rock that look. I'll just say it out loud. Yeah, not everybody can do it.
Now, I'd love if only we could get a voice in the middle right now to know what was happening. There seems to be some sort of a... The voice would probably be saying, your AV equipment was brought to you by Light Audio Visual. They definitely, big thanks to them for the big discounts and the lighting gear, getting us up and going out here today at the Great Southern Slam in Adelaide.
Yeah, this is an official review requested by Sydney. We've got just 18 seconds on the clock, so you know there's really nothing to lose to call an official review
Might
at
as
this
well
point.
use it now.
Mm-hmm. I think we're still doing one official review per half. In spite of the, we're only doing 2 20-minute halves, which is why this first half probably ended a little bit more earlier than you're used to. So
Yeah,
40-minute games in these preliminary rounds.
Yeah, that's it. During the preliminaries, they're a little bit shorter. We've got 48 teams playing it out here at the Great Southern Slam, so we need to fit in all of those we can.
Well, nothing's changed. Although no, Ballarat up to 17 points.
So 101 point difference at the moment, 118.
That was a 15-point jam, I believe, by Little Piece. Well, we've got Juicy Vengeance out racing Cheshire Splat around the turn, gets lead jammer. And Apocalypse Nerd going to the penalty box. Got a back block penalty against the Ballarat jammer. So Sydney in the black now on the power jam. Juicy Vengeance on her first scoring pass gets around Teratoma and Bizzombie, number 13. Grand slam.
You can see that Sydney are trying to hold back a Ballarat defender just so they can split that pack when that jammer gets there. Trying to get that pack control, trying to keep it nice and slow so they can lap as many times as possible.
Oh, Teratoma coming in and gets knocked over by a counter check from Juicy Vengeance. And then just too fast for Cheshire Splat. Gets out for another grand slam.
You notice they're spreading back. Yep, they've made pack at the back.
Now they've got a goat, Bazombi, in the goat pen of Sydney. They're opting to try and hold back the pack even further. And they can potentially even drive the pack back. That is, you know, anytime the skater in the goat pen gives ground, backs up a little bit, those blockers can even push back further. So it's a little more aggressive. That's an active offense rather than a passive offense.
With the rule changes, we're seeing more and more active offense because the rules encourage it. When there's only 30 seconds for you to make those points in a power jam, you need to get out there and assist, get people through, get those points quicker. So it's really definitely livened up the game.
It probably also gives them, makes it more interesting for the blockers. They have something to do instead of just watching.
And looks like that's the end of the first half, is it? Oh, no. Yeah, it looks like that's the end of the first half.
There we go. And we're going to have well, Ballarat isn't convinced of it, but okay, now they're going. They wanted to have another jam.
They were just hitting their stride. They just got some big points on the board. They just want to go again.
Oh, yeah. Now up to 21 points.
To Sydney's 142.
All right, but we're going to have, time to thank at least one more of our sponsors. And it's our Track 2 penalty box sponsor, Underage with Derby Rage, Little Adelaide Rollers, South Australia's only junior roller derby league. LAR offers a safe and fun environment for juniors aged 8 to 17 to learn and play flat track roller derby. They're established in 2010 and continue to grow with currently 25 junior skaters on the roster. You know, you know what? Junior roller derby is the definition of the future of roller derby. I mean, any league that does, anyone that is even interested in roller derby, you should. It's a great exercise. It's a great way to build up self-confidence in a world where many countries in our culture, women are often. Well, I don't want to get too political or get into some social broadcasting here, but I mean, it's just so fantastic to watch. Girls be just encouraged to be athletic,
Well,
you know,
even
and be physical too. You know, they're tough, they're fast, and they're just they can play strategic games. It's just fun. It's a great way for them to meet people and stuff.
And when you learn these base skills at a younger age, it means that they're firmly implanted by the time they've got a great foundation. By the time you get to the point of actually doing contact, they don't have the contacts minimalized in it because they are underage, but they've got those foundation skills. They know how to use their footwork. They know how to stop. They do lateral movement, those transitions. They've got to get those things nailed. So by the time they are ready to get into full derby, all the hard work's done. Then it's just about learning the strats and getting out there for the biff.
Yeah, and then when they do actually graduate, as it's often called, when they turn old enough to join the adult leagues are usually just drooling at the mouth to get skaters that have already been trained, already have the athletic skills, already have the tactical and strategic training, just come right onto the league. Ta-da! You've got trained skaters. None of no more run up. But anyway, we've just got about 7 minutes before the next half, so we're gonna give you guys a break, and also break, I reckon. See you in about 7 minutes. Hello, we are back for the second half of Sydney Roller Derby League versus Ballarat Roller Derby League. Ballarat in the tan and brown against Sydney in the black and red. We've got Pure Energy number 120 just diving right into the center of the track. Gets through for lead jammer starting off the second half with a bang. We're doing 2 20-minute halves, so this second period will only be 20 minutes. And we've got a fresh jammer for Ballarat. That is Vinda Skater, number 77. She's going to get out of the pack right behind Pure Energy's first scoring pass. But Pure Energy calling off the jam. Quick 5 for Sydney's to start off the second half. Son of Skating had to step away for just a minute, so you're stuck with me all by yourself, all by myself, just for a few minutes. So let's move on to the next jam. We've got Mother Farger, number 535, jamming against number 1929, Mabel Stark. It's a referee right in the way. There we go. Mother Farger gets out for lead jammer. And there goes Mabel Stark off to the races, trying to catch up. Going very quickly. Mother Farger gets into the pack, but she's already aware that Mabel Stark is out of the pack. Calls off the jam in plenty of time. It's going to be a 2-0 jam for Sydney. But Mabel Stark, great effort. Now getting congratulated, a little camaraderie from her teammate Keena's Marstard. But still no points yet in the second half. But Ballarat did finish out the first half very strong, putting some points on the board, actually getting up to 23 points. Or initially only getting 2 points scored by Apocalypse Nerd, but then team captain Little Piece coming through with a big jam and a couple of small jams coming up later. But right now we've got Little Piece, team captain for Ballarat, getting recycled by the 3-wall of Sydney. Now holding her in place, Stacy DC making contact. But Miss Sindall getting pretty much the same treatment from Ballarat defense so far, and it's lead jammer for Little Piece, dodging around Stacy DC. Gets out of the pack. Now she's moving into scoring position. Miss Sindall repelled again by Apocalypse Nerd to the inside, gets recycled. Little Piece knocked out as well. Gets drawn back all the way to turn 2.
Miss Sindall sent off for the cut.
And now a big opportunity for Ballarat. They're on the power jam. We've got Annabelle Lecter in inverted position, now dodging around to the outside of Peggy Spew. Past Juicy Vengeance, but Annabelle Lecter gets back in front. And now the 3-wall reassembles. Little Piece right back where she started. And a little shoulder shove from Stacy DC. Stacy DC in the rear formation, in the rear position behind the 3-wall of Sydney. And Little
not quite able to get to some of them, I think.
But a power start this time for Ballarat.
Mabel Stark on the line as they get ready for the wind-up.
4-on-3 pack advantage for Sydney. But Mabel Stark up right past Freda Cox and outraces Speed and Seagal of Sydney to get lead jammer, second time in a row lead jammer for Ballarat. Miss Sindall comes out of the penalty box.
Oh!
But and Mabel Stark knocks into the back. I think she kind of slid into the turn a little bit.
Yeah, it looked like she tried
to knocked down Great Balls of Fire, and Speed and Seagal gets the technical low block, and that is going to take away lead jammer. It's going to be a full 2-minute jam, and now Sydney's Miss Sindall on the power jam.
Looks like she tried to do that power slide to try to pull up before she hit that wall and change directions, lost control of it, and just face planted straight into the back of one of the Sydney players there, tripping them up.
Yeah, well, we've got a fairly smooth concrete floors. I haven't seen too much trouble. It doesn't seem like they're having too much trouble with grip on this floor.
No, the feedback has generally been people are rocking about 95s, 93s, just because it is a little bit grippier than some of the surfaces people have been playing on.
All right, so I don't think that was a problem. It was just had too much speed going into that turn.
Just trying to pull up way too quick on that income.
Yeah, I'll definitely defer to you on the skating technicalities. I'm a terrible skater. I do actually skate slightly, but I can go to a disco hall. disco skate night or something like that. But
you make up for it with your commentating. You seem to be on a bit of a world tour at the moment. Last time I saw you were in Scotland. Now you're in Australia. You're just bouncing around.
Yeah, well, a little bit. I gotta go wherever
wherever the derby takes you.
Well, anywhere they'll let me. They're foolish enough to put me in front of a mic. We got Miss Sindall getting around Warwick Snapper.
Snapper
last
sent
line
for.
Of, yep.
Yeah, was that a blocking out a play? I think the whistle went off and the hand came up and still went for the contact, just trying to slow it down a little bit.
Yeah, Warwick Snapper just riding the edge of the engagement zone and coming up short or coming up long.
She's a woman on the edge.
That's right. But that is 2 points picked up by Mabel Stark before going to the penalty box. She was on a scoring. She was starting a scoring pass when she slid into the turn and got that penalty, but she's still in the penalty box. So it'll be a power start for Sydney's Pure Energy.
Now, I'd just like to while we've got the official timeout, a big shout out to Hellcat Clothing. Hellcat makes clothing for women that like it a little different, specializing in roller derby clothing, fun outside the box outfits, and alternative styles. Well,
and now I do see team captain Little Piece and the bench coach for Ballarat are out there talking to the head referee. Unclear, though. I mean, ordinarily, if it was ordinarily, anytime the team captains are talking to the head referee, then the opposing team has the right to go out there and participate in the conversation.
Yeah, Mr. Spew seems to be moseying slowly over there just to check on his girls in the middle.
Well, they're not required to or anything like that, but they do have the right to come over.
Okay, so the glide in, unable to pull up the 1929 has been sent off, has been expelled. Sorry, so Mabel Stark will be removed from the rest of this game.
Yeah, they basically determined it was a reckless slide or a reckless action, dangerous, and she's going to get expelled for that one. Unfortunate for Ballarat.
Yeah, she's got quite a driver for their jamming lineup, so it'll be interesting to see how they try to fill those holes now. They're already having a bit of trouble against the defense, and things a little bit messy in the middle there. Big sprawling jammer fall. Yeah, low block on the sprawl.
And Sydney is reaping all the benefits. Pure Energy just getting through in the chaos and just stepping around a field of littered with fallen skaters. As Vinda's skater number 77 goes to the penalty box as jammer for Ballarat. So it's another power jam for Sydney. There's a grand slam for Pure Energy.
It was almost like 10-pin bowling for a minute there.
I'm not sure if any skaters got sent to the penalty box for that. I think it was mostly clean hits.
No, Jammer went down for the sprawl, got a low block, and
was that it?
Yeah, and one of the Sydney skaters also made it through. They skated together, not together like holding hands together, just in a race to get to the penalty box.
Now,
just
Pure
to serve
Energy
your time.
doing it with a sweeping pass around Warwick Snapper to get another grand slam. Here comes Vinda Skater with some speed, completes her initial pass very quickly out of the penalty box. But Pure Energy's calling off the jam, but I don't think the referee saw it in time. And it's going to be, only 1 point, but still a point is better than nothing. Vinda Skater is vindicated in that jam.
Yeah. Look, I like what you did there.
Yeah, you see what I did there? Yeah, okay.
Furiously calling off the end of the jam on that one after taking a big hit, trying to get the hips in front.
You might say a very energetic call. Yeah.
Don't stretch it out. Don't stretch it out. Go on. Do it with Motherfucker. Go on.
Forging ahead. You see, I've narrowly avoided that one. Well, that is Mother Farga. number 535 jamming for Sydney in the power start. We've got Vindicator in the, well.
And we have a diet pack out there for Sydney with just the 2 defenders. They seeming to use that to their advantage with the GOAT. Annabelle Lecter with a multiplayer block.
And that she is going to have a place to sit because Violet Van Slam is standing in the box. That left only Juicy Vengeance by herself. But on the power jam, Mother Farger able to get through all on her own, or more or less on her own.
It's not super terrible to be the only defender on a power jam, because then at least you're the only person making pack definition. You can control where that pack is.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, you almost have more control when you're the only blocker.
It just means you got to leave your jammers to do the hard work by themselves.
And also, no referee can send you off either. Well, I mean, they can give you a penalty, but they can't actually send you off until they have to leave at least one blocker on the track, even though it's usually a very short time. But
especially with the rule changes, now that it's only 30-second penalties, you're finding that it's less and less often that you only get 2 blockers on the track for any duration. It also means that when you get those power jams where people are working hard and the pack's thinning because they're getting those penalties, they're recycling out, so you're not getting huge turnover points in power jams.
Only 2 defenders on the track for Ballarat. So Freda Cox jamming for Sydney, easily getting around the outside. Yeah, and it's Ballarat jammer, team captain Little Piece getting out of the pack. Speed and Seagal going to the penalty box. So she is not gonna give up the jammer point. Freda Cox coming in on her first scoring pass. Whoa, very fast skating around Apocalypse Nerd.
Now
gets all 4, calls it off.
Now Freda moving through the pack. You see those brilliant hockey stops, those direction changes. You're not even sure which way she's going to cut out.
Very agile, but also jamming for Ballarat. So Ballarat starting to cycle through the rest of their team, moving through their bench. Miss Sindall is lead jammer, but putting up a little defense against Warwick Snapper, but Warwick Snappers is going to manage to step around, but Miss Sindall putting up a fierce fight. Very intense jammer on jammer action.
Miss Sindall bringing her all the way to the line, but that foot not quite going out. It looks like she wanted to eat the baby on that onto the outside.
If you can, absolutely. But now Miss Sindall, of course, in control with lead, so she's going to call it off. No danger of losing any points to Ballarat in that one.
Once again, Pure Energy lining up. She's been used in the rotation for Sydney quite regularly, and she's doing a pretty good job out there.
Apocalypse Nerd back. On Miss Hellfire. Dodges past Cheshire Splat, completes the pass for 4.
Every time.
So in one. Oh no! She's going to come back in front of Great Bowls of Fire. Great Bowls of Fire draws the cut. And it's a jammer swap out. So it's only going to be about 5 to 10 seconds served by both jammers. Mother Farger already back in. And there it is. Warwick Snapper released as well. So that's the end of both power jams. But Mother Farger on her initial pass, and so is Warwick Snapper, of course. But nevertheless, Ballarat at full strength. So
now Mother Farger just running through stings on that one. Jilly Bee stings to get out of the pack.
But Ballarat is at full strength. No, the penalty box, in fact, is empty. Something we haven't seen in quite a while.
It's been a little while.
But first scoring pass for Mother Farger just outraces Cheshire Splat on the outside and gets out for 4 points. Warwick Snapper is on a scoring pass, but now getting lapped by Mother Farger. First scoring pass for Ballarat, second scoring pass for Sydney. Motherfucker knocking down
Teratoma.
Teratoma.
There we go.
I kept
It's all right. I feel like we're married if I have to finish your sentences. So
I kept wanting to say temporatoma, and I knew that was wrong. Okay, teratoma. Teratoma knocked out of it. I'm just gonna call teratoma for the rest of. No, I'm not. Work snapper completing her first scoring pass does get 4, but Motherfucker getting a 5. So it's 9-4 so far in this jam.
Now they both, because there's no lead, you see them both kind of drifting through. And it looks like we start this one with the Little Adelaide Rollers penalty box being totally empty as well.
Score now 207-35. So Sydney, this is game going pretty much as expected in Sydney's favor. Sydney they heavily favored in this game, and I believe Perth also. This is the other team in this pool, also heavily favored when they play against Ballarat later on today.
Well, after you've seen in the first round how close Sydney and Perth are, you can understand why that is going to why that's the case, why that's believed to be the case.
But still, the pressure on Perth. Well, unless Ballarat comes back with a astounding return to play and overcomes Sydney somehow in the next 6 minutes, well then the pressure is going to be on Perth. They're basically going to have to get the biggest score differential they possibly can against Ballarat in order to maximize their chances of taking that one and only wild card slot. That is actually the quarterfinals will actually be played later today. I misspoke earlier. The quarterfinals, that is the 8 teams in Division 1 that advance out of the pools or to the next phase, and only 8 out of 21 will do so. That quarterfinals will be played later on today, the last games of today. And then the semifinals and finals, of course, all the remaining games will be played on Monday. Earlier, I said that earlier I implied the quarterfinals would be played on Monday, but in fact, no. The quarterfinals will be played later tonight.
Late evening, yeah. And it looks like they're still under an official review out there. Once again, a big shout out to the Little Adelaide Rollers. These are what our penalty box on this track's named after. Making sure that people that are under 18 get the ability to be involved in roller derby from a young age.
And Isogenics, another one of our sponsors, they've got the naming rights to the Track 3 penalty box. Oh, hold on, here we go.
Review challenging the no call for an insubordination on the ground jammer, no call stands.
All right, so Sydney challenging the no call for an insubordination against the brown jammer was Work Snapper, I believe. They expected an additional insubordination penalty to be called against her. However, the no call can't see everything from this.
I think Warwick Snapper had tried to beat Bowles back into play when she got called for that cut track, and she thought she made it. She definitely thought she made it back on play, but referee's vision of it definitely tells us the truth.
But, they wanted an additional penalty to be called against Ballarat, but nevertheless, Ballarat, in spite of that no call, still end up getting 3 blockers sent to the penalty box during that jam. So they'll be starting with a single blocker, and guess who that is? That's Teratoma. Yeah.
Yeah, she actually puts her hands up in the air. She must have heard us on the feed.
Little Piece now going against a full-strength Sydney, and that's Pure Energy having no difficulty at all.
Teratoma trying to help out from the front of that pack by slowing down someone.
But Sydney just, all of the blockers just keeping at the same pace. They're playing their own pace and maintaining the wall.
And the sparse Ballarat defense out there, not enough to cover that inside line and assist their jammer route, and just giving a free run to Free Energy up that inside.
Yeah, but Fiddlefingers came in, and together with Teratoma, they were able to bust up that wall and let their jammer through. Little Piece now moving into scoring position, but he's going to come up about 7 strides short. Nothing for Ballarat this time around. But I was just saying, Isogenics, that's a track 3 penalty box. Get them in very quickly. Another one of our great sponsors. It's a complete and simple system of nutritional cleansing that provides support for athletes or armchair athletes like us. Or me, I should say. Sorry, no, you're a real athlete. I talk a good game.
Talking good games half the battle.
Apocalypse Nerd now jamming for Ballarat against Mother Farger. Mother Farger at the back, trapped by a 3-wall and driven out of bounds. Drawn back by Vinda Skater. But, a low block penalty against Apocalypse Nerd.
She does not look happy about it at all.
I don't think I've ever seen a jammer. Well, you know what? I have seen 1 or 2 jammers happy about going to the penalty box. Or, I should say happy while going to the penalty box. In spite of going to the penalty box is more accurate.
I've definitely seen a jammer sitting in the penalty box with a big smile on their face, and the idea is you say 30-second penalty, I say 30 seconds to think about how awesome I am.
Well, I guess it's all in how you look at it. Oh dear, what happened? I looked like a Mother Farger was coming around looking for an outside lane, but just suddenly lost her foot. I couldn't tell where she made contact, though. We just had a bad angle, but it might have been a hip check from Vinda Skater. But Vinda Skater now driving Mother Farger out. So great round by Vinda Skater on that one, keeping Mother Farger to 1 scoring pass, 3 points for Sydney. And we're down to less than 3 minutes remaining in the game.
Full pack out there for both sides. The Little Adelaide penalty bin is, Little Adelaide Rollers penalty bin is empty. Platinums.
And we do have full strength. That is Warwick Snapper, but Warwick Snapper getting a high block, and it's going to be a power jam for Miss Sindall of Sydney. A couple more skaters, one from each team, going to the penalty box as well. That drops it down to a 3-on-3 pack, but still a power jam. Miss Sindall on her first scoring pass. A little blocking from Fiddle Fingers and Miss Hellfire. Vanilla Slicer tried to get in there, but Miss Sindall able to skate by.
Now Bez Zombie making a second lap after she missed the line. Didn't pull up in time. Had to burn around again.
It's all the skate of shame. The lap of shame. Missing that. Just a self-imposed extra penalty time when you miss that line of no return.
An extra 8 seconds. Just tack that on.
8 seconds if you're fast. You remember, you're going around the outside lane and...
Yeah, 6 seconds on.
Yeah. Well. okay, Mr. Speedy son of skate.
I'm only joking. I don't pull those speeds either.
Not on the outside. Not on the outside ref track.
Maybe on this wonderful surface that we have here at the Adelaide Showgrounds. One of our prime sponsors putting a roof over our head and a very speedy track under our skates.
And we've got Pure Energy running into Miss Hellfire. It gets past Teratoma and Cheshire Splat.
Freda Cox, the only pack definition for Sydney out there and the only defender. No, she's quickly joined.
Warwick Snapper back in play. Gets around Stacy Deasy, and now Miss Hellfire fell down, and Freda Cox is paying the penalty. So Warwick Snapper completing her initial pass. Racing right through again in the confusion, but Warwick Snapper does pick up 4. So they were at 23 at the halftime, 38 now, and the time has run out.
Just waiting for the official score to be sent over from the Zebra squad.
But while we're verifying that final score, a quick thank you to some more of our sponsors. We've got Hellcat Clothing. They make clothing for women that like it a little different. They specialize in roller derby wear, fun outside the square outfits, and alternative styles. That's Hellcat Clothing. We've also got Suitcase Photography. No, the roller derby skaters love no one more than their photographers, I'll tell you that. And a big thank you to Suitcase Photography for sponsoring the Great Southern Slam.
And once again, Rydell Skates making unmatched quality, unmatched performance.